Football, a gentleman's game, steeped in tradition. But pray tell, what happens when we bring back the most preposterous formations from yesteryear and put them into Football Manager? Cast aside thy notions of tiki-taka and banish the modernity of the gegenpress. Today, dear viewer, we embark on the most peculiar quest to bring back the tactical eccentricities of the forgotten years of football. Formations so bewildering that defenders were just an afterthought, and midfielders scurried hither and thither like unchained spirits. The strikers, well, they just loitered with intent. Shall these bygone stratagems triumph in the modern game, or shall we be made a mockery? Well, let us henceforth and find out. Whoa, back in the right century. Jeez. This is the challenge. We're going to start a save in the present day, but the twist is we've got to use a tactic which was widely used back in the 1890s. Then next season, we've got to use a new formation, whatever the most popular one was of the next decade. So that would be the 1900s, and then the 1910s, and then the 1920s, and so on, until we reach something that resembles the modern day. Now, I've seen these tactics ahead of time, and it scares me a bit. This could be a car crash. Right, so to give myself a chance, I've started the save with Real Madrid, because, you know, it's Real Madrid and they've probably got the best players, and these tactics are wild. So let's get into some tactics and show you what I'm dealing with. Yeah, that's right. It's a 2-3-5. I've tried to put this together as best as I can think. So I've got two centre-backs just sitting on defend, because actually these guys are going to be all I've got, pretty much. And then I put Chouameni as a half-back. So my thinking here is that Chouameni is going to drop back into that sort of centre-back role when we've got the ball. So it gives us that back three to give us a little bit of protection at least. Then we've got Camavinga. He's going to be working as a ball-winning midfielder on support. Jude Bellingham, the man, obviously as an advanced playmaker. Then where all the talent's at is up front, let's face it. So we've got Vinny Jr. on the left, we've got Rodrigo as a deep line forward, as in the left forward, we've got Mbappe at the top as an advanced forward with that electric pace, then we've got Endrick as a complete forward, and then we've got Diaz or somebody at this point, I'm not really sure who that's going to be, who's going to be playing on that inside forward role. In terms of in possession, we're going to go for an attacking style. I've not done a great deal really, I just put slightly more direct because we've got everybody up front, so why would we not do that? We've gone for a higher tempo, and we've gone for fairly narrow, run at the defence because we've got some skill. And actually back in the day, when you look at the old tactics when they used to use this, it was all about dribbling and getting at the defence, and that was about it really. And then we've just got to play for set pieces as well, because, you know, why not? We've got so many people up front, we've got a good chance of getting set pieces, so that's what we're going to go with. Then in transition, I've got counter press, obviously, we've got counter, attack, and then distribute quickly because we need to get it up the field pretty fast because there's no defence. Then out of possession, we're going to have a higher defensive line, so we're going to try and push up the field a little bit and keep the play in the midfield and further forward. We're going to funnel it to the centre because that's where all the players are. There's nothing on the wings really, not a full-back anyway. We're going to get stuck in because it's one of my tactics, and I always put get stuck in on my tactics because why would you not do that? And we're going to try and stop the crosses because, you know, we don't really want to be pushing people wide because we've like I said, there's nobody there. And we're going to press more often, and that is it. Really. So that's the tactic in the whole. Hopefully I don't get sacked. So that'd be the end of the experiment, so see you in a minute. And so we begin with the granddaddy of them all, the 2-3-5. Conceived in the days of football's infancy, it was regarded the pinnacle of tactical acumen. After all, who needs defenders when you can simply just outscore the opposition? Good news, I've still got a job. I'm still in the game. Winning, but it's not looking good. We've been rated D by the board. To summarise, we are disappointed with your management of the team. We played attacking football, but the reserving judgment, but we scored a lot of goals. So if we head over to the league, we scored 148 goals. I mean, we did let in 78, but let's not talk about that. But even with that, we managed to finish second, which obviously the board aren't happy with that either, because they wanted to win. I mean, I'm happy with that goals. I mean, the closest to us was Atletico, and they scored 85. We scored more than Barca. Barca only scored 81. So, I don't know what's wrong with this board. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the results. So we started off in the friendlies, a couple of losses, a couple of wins. We lost to Villa in the Champions League group stages, 4-3. You know, not too bad. Big win against Las Palmas, 6-0. We had a 7-1 against Borussia Dortmund. So absolutely hammered them. But as we go down, you can see there's just goals and goals and goals and goals. Back in the day, it must have been well entertaining to watch football. Shame it wasn't on TV. Did they even have TVs? Nah, they didn't have TVs. They definitely didn't. And then you can go all the way down, and I think our biggest win was, yeah, we did lose 9-3 to Liverpool in the Champions League round of 16. That's probably why the board aren't very happy. Yeah, moving on. Do you know what it looks like? Season 2 is going to be just as painful because tactics still didn't evolve. We were still on the 2-3-5, so I guess I'll just try and make some improvements to that and see if we can, concede a few less goals and maybe win a few more trophies. Okay, back into another simulation. Back again. Okay, so the season's over, and guess what? That's right. Yeah, we didn't win league again. In fact, it got worse. We finished 3rd. And we scored less goals than last year with 136. Good news, yo, we did concede less. We only conceded 69 this time round, so that's getting better, isn't it? In terms of transfers, we had a few outgoings. We got rid of Rudiger, David Alaba, because we don't have a position for him, and a couple of others that went for insignificant fees. Then we brought in Michael Elise. We got him for a bit of a bargain, 43.5 mil, going up to 62 mil, just as cover for the right wing. Then we loaned Savio from City, and we loaned William Pacho from PSG just for some centre-back cover. But we did also sign Diamonde at the end of last season for a cool 51 million, only going up to 59, so a little bit of a bargain. And Valencia surprisingly won the league. I don't know how on earth they managed that. Probably because I'm playing without half a defence. Might have something to do with it. 23 goals from Hendrick, 37 goals from Rodrigo, and 40 from Mbappe helped us to the Holy Grail of the Champions League. We beat City on penalties after a 5-5 game. So, turns out you can play tactics from the 1900s and still win the Champions League. Now, so, old boys maybe had something going. We're going to be heading into the next season, which is the 1910's. And guess what? We don't have a new formation. See you in a minute. The wild abandon of the 2-3-5. The offence did dazzle, and the defence crumbled like a poorly thatched roof. This formation continued way into the 1900s. Okay, I know what you're going to ask. Did we win the league?
The answer's no.
Sorry, what?
What are you, deaf and stupid? I said no.
Well, I'm actually surprised I've still got a job because we finished 3rd again. Which, is not great. And we finished behind Atletico and we finished behind Barca, which is never good. And how were the goals? Well, you can see that we scored 134 goals and the defence was still super leaky with 76. Just a goal fest still. But obviously this tactics goal difference isn't good enough to get us where we need to be, and we need to move on to a decade where we've got a better tactic. We still did win a trophy, we won the Spanish Cup, but that is about it. In terms of the goals scored, you can see that it was Hendrick, Vinny and Mbappe with most of the contributions again. So those guys are just obviously just banging in goals for fun because of quality players. The good thing is, we're now moving into the 1920s, and that means, at last, a new tactic, so hopefully we've got a little bit more solidity in defence. So I'm going to show you that tactic now. By the time we reach the roaring 20s, a wise man did declare, maybe 2 defenders is not enough. Maybe we should go for 3. And the introduction of a new offside rule in 1925 meant there needed to be some upheaval to the tactical formations in football. So you can see here we've got the 3-2-2-3. And if we compare it to this graphic here, we can see that more or less the same shape. What we've gone for is a central defender on cover, a couple of ball-playing defenders, 2 defensive midfielders, 1 on deep line playmaker though, a couple of attacking midfielders, and then we've got 2 advanced forwards and a complete forward on support. So in terms of the way we're going to do it, we're still going to be attacking, and then in possession, I'm not really going to change much because we've got quite a lot up top still. We've still got quite a few players in the middle of the field, so we're going to keep it narrow. I might just take the passing down to a standard, so it's a little bit more mixed because we've got a little bit more going on in terms of midfield. And then everything else, I think I'm going to keep the same. In transition is going to stay the same, and out of possession is going to stay the same as well. Could this be the season that we win the league playing a 1920s formation? Yes, please. What year is it? 2027? Have Madrid won the league?
Yeah, boy.
We smashed it out of the park. 103 points. I mean, absolutely killed it. We scored 155 goals and conceded 42, giving us a goal difference of 113. I mean, wow. I mean, yeah, I'm Real Madrid, so you'd expect some goals, but that is pretty good. And I think this could just be maybe a tactic for my game now. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, amazing. We had 14 matches where we scored over 6 goals. 14. We had 2 7-0s, an 8-0, an 8-2, and a 9-2. I mean, wow. Not only that, but Kylian had his best season yet, scoring 40 league goals. 40 league goals in 34 matches. I mean, what? He also scored 16 in the Champions League, which puts his goal tally for the year up to 61 in total in all competitions. Incredible. And in the 7-0 demolition of Basel in the Champions League, Kylian scored not 3, not 4, but 5 goals. But despite Kylian and the rest of the guys' heroics, we still crashed out in the quarterfinals against AC Milan. And we lost in the Spanish Cup final to Atletico 4-3. So now we're heading into the 1930s, which means, unfortunately, we're going to have to change this formation because we're going to have to go to a new one, because in the 1930s, the Italians came up with a new one that won them the World Cup. The metodo, conceived by the esteemed Vittorio Pozzo, a true tactician of the most refined intellect. This stratagem did bring forward a grand upheaval in footballing warfare. Okay, so this is a 2-3-2-3 that Italy used in the World Cup in 1934 and 1938, and it won it. So let's take a deeper dive in and see what we're playing with. So we've got 2 centre-backs, ball-winning midfielder and defensive midfield position, a couple of wing-backs this time, which is the first time that we've used them in this experiment. Then at the top of the pitch is familiar. It looks like the one that we used last season, so hopefully we can still score lots of goals and maybe we'll get a little bit more defensive protection. So we're still going to go with an attacking style because that's what Real Madrid, so we have to. In possession though, I've changed things up a little bit. So we're going to play at defence, which I didn't have on last time. But now we've got the wing backs, we've got the opportunity to do so, and we've got overlap left and overlap right again because we've got the wing backs. In transition, everything stays the same. We're making no amendments there. Out of possession, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to, rather than trapping inside, we're just going to take that off, and we're not going to trap anywhere. We're going to see how that pans out. We'll still keep trying to stop crosses though. So that is it. We're going to simulate the season and see if we can win the league again and maybe win the Champions League. So hopefully we don't get sacked. Verily, some among us whisper that a certain manager from Catalonia doth deploy echoes of this stratagem in the modern day. Yet one must wonder, would these artisans of possession endure the rugged fray of a bygone age? And hence, we shall never know. Alright, so we're here in 2028 using tactics from 1938, and I just need to show you this game. We were playing Celta Vigo and we had 33 shots and 17 on target. An XG of 6.16, 8 different goal scorers. This match finished 12-0. And this isn't the only big win. This is not the only big win. We had a 10-0 win in the Champions League, which must be a record. So we finished the season with 101 points and a goal difference of 111. Not quite as good as 115 from last season, but we did score 159 goals and conceded 48. So overall, I'm very happy with that. And we won the league, right? So what can you moan about? We also won the Spanish Super Cup and we also won the Spanish Cup. So the 3 domestic trophies were down and that left us with one left, the Champions League final. Yes, and we made it to the Champions League final this year, and we were playing United of all people. I mean, can you believe that? In 4 years, Football Manager thinks that United are going to be in the Champions League final. But did they have enough to beat us? Did they have enough in the tank to knock over the mighty Real Madrid with the tactics of 1938? Matthias de Ligt had something to say about that, scoring after the 2nd minute, and it took an own goal from Kobe Mainoo to get us back in the game on 43 minutes. But alas, that man de Ligt showed up again in 51 minutes and put United ahead, 2-1. We were up against it. Then Rodrigo stepped up in the 53rd minute with this banger and put us level. With the game heading to extra time and our performance not being the best, I was starting to get a little bit worried. But then in the 101st minute of extra time, you know who it is. Man like Kylian, the leader, the captain, with this stunner, gets us back into the game. And that's how it finished. 3-2 to Real Madrid with a 1938 tactic. There's 2 Champions Leagues now, by the way. Same, couple of leagues. Lots and lots of cups. I'm not even playing a modern tactic yet. So far in the experiment we've had a formation from the 1890s, the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s, now in the 1930s, But obviously in the 1940s, this thing called like World War II happened, so unfortunately there was no football then because, you know, obviously everybody was at a big horrible war. So we have to move on to the 1950s, which in reality brings us to more modern formations. So Brazil played a 4-2-4 at the World Cup and they won the World Cup with that. So in reality, I think this is probably the end of the video. It took us 60 years to get to something that we recognise as a formation today. By looking back at some of these, it might work now. And there's a reason why they say that Guardiola has used parts of this tactic that we've just used in the last season. But if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and maybe watch this video just up here. It's about how to find Wonder Kids and that. You know, might need your glasses, so. Get back to old school. City!